The superstar of the ring, Rainbow Mika. Known for her wrestling antics, Mika is a strong-willed character, filled with a sense of pride and justice, outside and inside of the ring. In this episode, what role does she play in the Street Fighter franchise? We will also be talking about what lies behind the mask of R.Mika. Without further ado, let me welcome you to the Cypunk feed. Her formal name is Mika Nanakawa. Her last name in kanji means 7 rivers, and her first name, Mika, roughly means beautiful blossom. R.Mika is a professional wrestler trained by the legendary female coach Yoko Armageddon, also known as Demon Coach Yoko. She is a representative of the Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, an all-women's professional wrestling federation headquartered in Iwashigama, Japan. In Street Fighter Alpha 3, she appears in some of R.Mika's victory animations. The known members of the Iwashigama, Japan Women's Pro Wrestling organization of female wrestlers are Sunrise, Maple Storm, Raika and Fuka, Furai, Vivian, Pepe, and Yamato. Yamato works for the same wrestling organization as R.Mika. In Street Fighter V, Yamato is part of R.Mika's moveset. Yamato's design, it's said to be influenced by the professional wrestler Hikaru Shida. Hikaru is a Japanese professional wrestler, currently signed to All Elite Wrestling, where she is a former and the longest reigning AEW Women's World Champion. An energetic, beautiful girl with a tomboyish attitude, Mika is well known for her special wrestling moves, designed to blow the crowds away. She idolizes Zangief and considers his way of fighting as the ideal route for herself. It is sometimes difficult to distinguish what Mika is feeling or thinking because of the mask around her eyes. However, she is very open about her emotions and speaks with a distinct manner. Mika also won't hesitate to protect her friends. For example, she was able to take a punch from Balrog when defending Ibuki. Mika was introduced to be a tricky and technical character into the series, though she was not a female wrestler in the beginning. After her development, the team introduced Garin to provide a contrast to her. It is said that her color scheme was inspired by Lisa Kusanami from Sega fighting game Last Bronx, and her mask is similar to that of Yatterman 2 from Tatsunoko's Yatterman anime. Fun fact, R.Mika's voice actress in Street Fighter Alpha 3 is known for voicing the main protagonist, Naruto, in the original Japanese language version of both the original Naruto and the Shippuden anime series. As stated by fandom, Mika has 2 geometric pigtails tied to her long hair and blue eyes. She wears a blue and white lingerie-style leotard with ruffles around the collar, the sleeves, and the leg holes, as well as wrestling boots and a white bustier with blue hearts. Her attire is meant to be flamboyant, so she can stand out from the more experienced wrestling pools and circles. Her outfit is considered to be one of the most revealing designs of the series' playable female characters. In Street Fighter V, her appearance remains largely the same, with minor modifications to her outfit. While her measurements have not changed, she has grown a larger bust and bulked up in muscle considerably. The same colors remain, except for the blue hearts on her chest that have been removed. In R.Mika's Timeline, in her debut in Street Fighter Alpha 3, through this publicity journey, R.Mika meets the great Zangief and cooperates in some way with his mission to destroy the Psycho Drive, though they end up rescuing people with E.Honda as well. Afterwards, Mika continues to train as a pro wrestler so that she can finally meet him again later on. At some point in the story, Mika meets Garin and the two fight. Garin is so impressed with Mika's fighting ability that she promised that the Gansuki Saibatsu would become her sponsor if and when she becomes a first-class wrestler. In Street Fighter V, R.Mika returns in Street Fighter V, making her first playable appearance since her debut in Alpha 3. R.Mika met with Zangief in London, much to her excitement, and the two fought to show each other's progress. As she expressed her admiration towards the Russian fighter, he, praising her skills, suggested that she followed him in his quest around the world to find muscle spirit. She didn't know what that was, but eagerly accepted. During a pause in India, Mika found Birdie stealing donuts and stopped him. After overpowering the thug, she told him she wasn't as near as Zangief and he had no muscle spirit. When he said that he didn't understood what she was talking about, Mika realized to her confusion she didn't really know either, and Birdie took advantage of it to slip away. much to her irritation. In Russia, Zangief got Mika to fight Laura. Then he stepped in for a match of his own. Mika looked on with admiration, but after a while, she realized that the bear had gotten loose. Not wanting him to spoil the fight and wishing to protect her idol for a change, she stepped in and grappled with him. As she was at the end of her rope, Zangief came to help and dispatched the beast, to which she felt that she was more distant than ever from her objective. Mika told the Russian wrestler that she felt that she hadn't advanced yet enough, but Zangief disagreed, saying that by fearlessly facing the bear, she showed muscle spirit, the fusion between the physical effort and the passion of the spirit. He then told her that by following in his quest, she had earned the right to be his partner and fight by his side, much to her happiness. After that, Mika met Ibuki at the Kansuki estate. The meeting, however, degenerated as Mika found Ibuki arrogant and not even willing to listen to her offer of building some muscle, and Ibuki calling Mika bossy and finding her overexcited, and as a result, they prepared to fight. A shadow falls. In the game's main story, R.Mika teams up with her idol Zangief against Laura and Alex until the match is suspended due to the activation of the 7 black moons created by the Shadow Lu. R.Mika is later seen in the Kansuki estate having arguments with Ibuki. When Karen defeats Mars, she tells them that she will join their fray if they continue to argue, causing both to stop arguing and both stating that they are okay. During the infiltration, both continue to argue until they are confronted by Balrog and Ed. Ibuki tries her best to beat Balrog with ninjutsu skills, but fails as R.Mika does the same, but to no effect. When Ed attempts to use Psycho Power, Ibuki uses a smoke bomb to distract him long enough to get the chess piece as her and R.Mika to be reunited with Karen and Shibasaki. When both are now escaping, they watch Zangief pulverize a brainwashed Abel with his spinning pile driver, as R.Mika idolizes him while Ibuki was disgusted on his axe. In the final assault against Shadow Lu, both R.Mika and Ibuki watch Zangief, who manages to take down Satsuki, one of the dolls controlled by F.A.N.G. After surviving Satsuki's sword slash, R.Mika is last seen with the other fighters, watching Shadow Lu's destruction. R.Mika uses professional wrestling as her fighting style. Mika is primarily a grappling character, whose main weapons are a high-priority command throws. Unlike most grapplers in the Street Fighter series, who are slow and heavy, Mika is fast and agile. She has a fairly high and quick jump and walks quite swiftly. Mika's normal attacks are diverse and useful, but aside from 2 command throws, her specials are none too impressive, so they must be used as a vital part of a play strategy. Like Dan, some of Mika's special attacks are rather comical. In her Flying Peach and Shooting Peach specials, she flings herself into her opponent's buttocks first, and mostly falls on it and has to rub it due to recoil. For her opening taunt and beach special super combo, she uses the top turnbuckle of a wrestling ring that appears from the side of the screen. In Street Fighter V, Mika gains more wrestling moves, such as the Frankensteiner, a stunner, and a giant swing. Her first V-trigger, Come On Nadeshiko, enables her to be aided by her tag team partner, Yamato Nadeshiko. Depending on the direction pressed during activation, Nadeshiko will appear either in front or behind the opponent with a drop kick. In her second V-trigger, Steel Chair, depending on whether the buttons are pressed or held, Nadeshiko will run on screen with a steel chair and will either throw it to the opponent if pressed, or will run to the opponent and bash them with the chair twice if the buttons are held. Before the release of Street Fighter V, one of R.Mika's moves was censored. During the activation of her critical art, the camera would zoom on Mika's buttocks as she spanked herself. In the final release of the game, the camera is moved up to her face, though the slap can still be heard. This was done in order to maintain sensitivity for televised competitions, where censorship standards are strict. So what did you like about this episode? Let us know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on new theories and info. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the center stage.